How's it going, guys? RNG Life here, and today we're going to be talking about some new leaks that happened in YuGiOh Duel Links. Arcana, or Arcana, however you want to pronounce it. I think the Japanese name is Pandora, though. But Arcana has been leaked. He was supposed to be the one that shows up instead of on the 18th, instead of them extending Joey's event. But they did have to do some kind of last-minute workarounds or something, so they extended Joey's instead. But yeah, Arcana is coming. It's probably coming on the 20th. A lot of cards have been leaked for Arcana. We can see all that data. We have a lot of really cool stuff. We have a lot of pictures. We have a lot of cool new cards. We have a lot of audio as well. We have like audio of Arcana talking, and on one of them, he actually states that he's going to pendulum summon, and another one he states that he's going to link summon. So that, I don't know what that means for the future of the game. I don't know if that means that they're eventually going to go for the whole like pendulums and links, which I think pendulums wouldn't be that great in Duel Links since there's not that many field zones and stuff. But whatever. Besides all that, which might happen way later on, today we're going to be talking about a lot of the cool cards that have been kind of leaked for Arcana. A lot of these could be pretty much cards in his deck. It could say that they could be possible rewards, but I'm pretty sure most of them are just his deck cards. To start off, he has a card called Dark Room of Nightmare, which basically it's a card that does 300 additional damage every time your opponent takes damage. So I think that's pretty good for burn decks. I don't know if we're gonna be able to use it. I think it would be a solid SR, but that depends if he's going to drop it, because it seems very plausible that he would actually drop that kind of card. Another card that actually is really good. I stress it. I am stressing it. I can't stress it enough. This card is amazing, called Dark Renewal. I know for a fact Arcana is going to use it because he does have a voice line where he says that he's going to activate Dark Renewal. So I don't know if that means he's using it. It's like a card that only he uses and that we cannot use because he won't drop it or whatever. But it is a really good card. I'm going to go ahead and read the text. The text does state, when your opponent normal or special summons a monster or monsters, target one of those monsters and one spellcaster type monster you control. Send both monsters to the graveyard, then you can special summon one dark spellcaster type monster from your deck or graveyard. That is insane. Since Arcana is a dark magician specialist, and if you guys have seen the anime, he's probably going to activate this card, send whatever spellcaster and whatever card you summon. So it's going to wreck whatever you summon. So it destroys whatever you summon, and he gets a free dark magician on the field from his deck or grave, which is insane. I think the only downside for this is that if he draws the dark magician or whatever, or the target card, he's kind of screwed. If he does happen to drop this card and have it as one of his rewards, then this card is going to be really strong. It would be really useful in Dark Magician decks. It could also really boost Gravekeepers as well. It's just a really solid, powerful card. You never know. Also, since I know for this event, Arcana is not going to be unlockable, but he is in the game data. He's going to have his own animations and stuff. So I don't know. Later on, we most likely will be able to unlock him. I know we are getting a new character, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be Merrick. If you notice in Arcana's speech audio files, he actually mentions Merrick quite a bit. If it's not Merrick, I'd be surprised. The next card we're going to be talking about, that's another really cool card, is a card called Bound Wand. Now this card is another really OP card. It's one of those cards that I don't know, that just synergy with spellcasters. It's really good. It's basically, the text for this card states, equipped only to a spellcaster type monster that has a level. It basically states that it cannot be an Exceed, which we don't have in the game yet, so there's no problem. So, it has to equip to a spellcaster monster that has a level. It gains attack equal to its level times 100. If the equipped monster is destroyed by your opponent's card, by battle or card effect, so just by destroyed by their card in general and sent to the grave, and this card is sent to the grave as a result, you can special summon that monster. That is really good. It's a free revival for whatever you equip it to. So the only way around this is you have to destroy this card first, then destroy the monster. I think that's awesome. And basically, if you do equip it to a Dark Magician, it's a free like 700 boost. It's a free 700 boost, and I mean, and he could come back. So I think that card is going to be really, really powerful. But I don't know. I just get the feeling that it's going to be an Arcana exclusive card. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to actually play it. If we do get to play it, then woo, man, this is going to be a good card. Alright, next up, Commander of Swords, which is a really interesting card. It's basically a card that's just meant to kind of screw your opponent over. But this text says, when your opponent draws for their normal draw in their draw phase, they reveal the cards they drew, or cards they drew. Then if any if any is a spell / trap card, you apply one of these effects. So basically, depending on what they draw, you activate an effect. So one of them is discard all cards they draw, or card they drew, and the other one is destroy one spell or trap card they control. This card isn't a continuous, so it's basically you just use it once and that's it, but it's still really good for disrupting your opponent. Once again, I don't know if Arcana is going to be using this, but because it is Commander of Swords, it's kind of like it's not really spellcaster based. But you never know, he might actually give this as a reward, or it could just be in the game data somehow, somewhere. Like it's going to be showing up in the next card trader event, or I don't know. But that's definitely in the data, so I guess look forward to that. Alright, next up, another card that I'm looking at is called Spell Shield Type 8, which is a trap card. It is a counter trap card, actually. And the text does state, activate one of these effects. When a spell card is activated that targets exactly one monster on the field, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So right off the bat, it can pretty much destroy whatever spell. I think it can negate a order to charge, because that does target one of your own monsters. When a spell card is activated, send one spell card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So I mean, right there, another thing. It's like it's that spell hate. Like, it's really good for countering spells in general, but you do have to send a spell from your hand to the grave to negate the activation. So I think this card would be really good as well. Who knows if it's going to be one of his exclusive cards or a reward. Other really cool cards. I mean, he is running a lot of spellcaster type monsters, so he is running cards like Apprentice Magician, Old Vindictive Magician, which are interesting cards in their own. Like, they're kind of like flip effect monsters. I know Old Vindictive is cool because it's basically a man-eater bug, and that can give spellcasters their own little destruction thing. So it could be dangerous to run over Arcana's monsters if he does run Old Vindictive. Another really cool thing that I am looking at, actually, I don't know, I think this has definitely got to be some kind of Arcana exclusive thing, because I don't know if they would just release this card into the game just like that. But I'm looking at the data for Monster Reborn. This card has been on and off the ban list in the TCG for quite a while. I mean, Monster Reborn is like the OG revival card. It's a free revival for a monster in your grave or your opponent's. I don't know if they're gonna put Monster Reborn, like, make it a playable card, but if it is, it might just be a reward card, like for leveling up Arcana at level 40 or something. It is very possible, but that is awesome. I don't know. I think that's crazy. I don't think it's gonna be broken, since there's so many cards that can, like, destroy things. But Monster Reborn is definitely a really, really good card that I think it would definitely become a staple in most decks. But yeah, aside from Monster Reborn, I'm looking at quite a few other really interesting cards. I'm seeing one called Witch Doctor of Chaos, which, I mean, it is a Chaos type card, and this card's effect is basically that when it is flipped, you select one monster card in your opponent's graveyard, remove it from play. I think that could be really useful. I don't know if he's going to drop it, but I think outside of Dueling Arcana, this card can be really good against this one deck that is popping up quite a bit, is the Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys deck. That deck, I mean, the fact that they have their Phoenix in the grave, it gets destroyed, it comes back and blows up everything. I think the fact that this guy definitely be useful to counter that meta, since Phoenix is pretty strong. Another card I'm looking at is a card, it's a trap card called Nightmare Wheel, which is a continuous trap. Its effect is basically that of Mask of the Cursed, I believe it's called, which is basically you target one monster your opponent controls, cannot change cannot attack or change its battle position. Sorry about that, I kind of like lost train of thought for a second. When it leaves the field, destroy this card. So it's basically like that other one, and it also inflicts the same amount, 500 damage to your opponent. I think Mask might be a little bit better, but this one does lock it from changing battle position. So I don't know if that's worth the fact that this is a trap and the other one's a spell. I am also seeing a lot of really cool cards in here. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, I'm seeing data on like a Blackluster Soldier archetype, which is insane. And I'm not talking about the little mini Blackluster Soldiers. I'm talking about Blackluster Soldier, Sacred Soldier. I think it's like enforcing that Chaos archetype, which I really hope they do add. And this card is really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and read the text. It's basically saying, when this card is normal or special summon, you can target one of your banished light or dark monsters and one card your opponent controls. Return the banished cards to the graveyard, and if you do, banish that card your opponent controls. Alright, so that basically means you get to put whatever is banished, so a banished light or dark monster, back into your grave, and you can pretty much banish your opponent's monster. I think that's really good, just to have banished cards in general, so you can activate this effect. But it is only when it's normal or special summon, so it can only do it once. It is saying you can only use the effect of Blackluster Soldier, Sacred Soldier once per turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target one level 7 or lower warrior type monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. I think that might have some synergy with like Gaia and stuff like that. But I don't know if Arcana is going to be running Blackluster Soldier cards. I really don't. That would be crazy if he is, but I just don't know. Alright, and moving on, there are more Blackluster Soldier stuff. There's another one called Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Evening Twilight. We're not talking about Envoy of the Beginning, we're talking about Evening Twilight here. And so it's not as good as the original BLS, but it is looking pretty good so far. It's another one of those cards that cannot be normal summoned, but it must be special summoned by its own effect. So the effect does state, cannot be normal summoned, must be special summoned from your hand by banishing all light monsters or all dark monsters from your graveyard while you have an equal number of each in your graveyard. So it does have to be an equal number, so you can have 1 and 1, 2 and 2, but it does have to be pretty much, you have to kind of manage your grave quite a bit, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. While face up on the field, this card is also light attribute, so it's dark and light. When this card is special summoned, you can activate the appropriate effect based on the attribute of the monster's banished. So if you banish light or you banish dark, it gets different effects. Alright, and you cannot conduct the battle phase the turn you activate this effect, which is the start for either one of these effects. So for lights, you can, if you banished all the lights in your grave to summon it, you can target one monster on the field and banish it. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good ability, but you gotta make sure your opponent's got something for you to banish. If you banish darks, you can banish one random card from your opponent's hand face down until your opponent's end phase. I think the light one might be a little bit more useful because it banishes a monster on the field, and you can attack with this guy on the turn you use it, but it still gets over something. But it's even though it's still a 3,000 attack monster. Moving on, we also have a trap card that is showing up in the leak as well, that is also Blackluster Soldier oriented. This one is called Beginning of Heaven and Earth. This one also has a really long effect. I'm going to go ahead and read that out to you. Reveal 3 warrior type monsters from your deck, including at least one Blackluster Soldier monster or Gaia the Fierce Knight monster. I was about to say Gaia the Fierce Number. Gaia the Fierce Knight monster. And your opponent randomly picks one. If they pick the Blackluster Soldier monster or Gaia the Fierce Knight monster, add it to your hand and send the rest to the graveyard. Otherwise, send them all to the graveyard. You can only activate one Beginning of Heaven and Earth per turn. I think this is a pretty cool card. I honestly do think this card is pretty good for what this deck is trying to do. And I don't know, I get the feeling you never know if these cards might just end up being freaking card trader cards. I don't know. But if that is possible, I mean, we have gotten some of his Blackluster ritual stuff and in the card trader, so you never know. We might be getting these in the card trader sometime soon. Oh, or Arcana could be running them, which I just have no idea if he does. And aside from those, we are also looking at some cards that he will most likely be running. Cards like Dark Magic Curtain, which is basically pay half your life points to special summon a Dark Magician. I think this is really good in Duel Links since we already have a pretty low amount of life points, and it can be used at any time. So you can use it when you have like 500 life points left, 1,000 life points left, and you only pay half, so it's always live. So Dark Magic Curtain is really good. This might be an Arcana exclusive card, because I know I heard text that he actually says that he activates Dark Magic Curtain. Another card that it says that he will activate is a card called Trap Master, which is basically a card that just destroys a trap. I believe it's like a flip effect, but apparently he's going to be using it, and it's just another card I just kind of wanted to mention. More cards I am seeing on this list. I'm going to go over like maybe 2 more, just because these last 2 are actually pretty cool, and I actually really like them. Alright, the first one is a card called Dark Geroid. Now this card, it's, I don't know, ever since I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I was actually playing this, and this card was it's just really good. It's just a really good card. Its effect does state, when this card is summoned, it's just summoned in general, target one face-up monster on the field, it loses 800 attack. I think that is awesome. I just really like that effect, and I would use this card when I had like a old makeshift like beat-down deck. I would run Dark Geroid because it just powers down your opponent's monster, and it's not that strong. It's only 1200 attack, 1500 defense. But you can flip summon it. You can do any kind of summoning, and he will activate. So I think that's really cool. Dark Geroid's a really interesting card. I'm not sure if he's gonna be dropping this card. I would say he could, because I mean it is a pretty viable card. I mean it could also be a card trader card, but we don't know that. To the last one I wanted to talk about today is a card called Apprentice Piper, which, I mean, you would look at it and you don't think it's that special. It's only 2 stars, 100 attack, 1500 defense, and I mean, look at him. He's a little cute little kid, but actually this guy has a really good effect. I can't believe I didn't know about this card before, but this guy, it's a spellcaster that it has a flip effect. Its flip effect is flip. You can special summon one monster from your hand. Period. That's really good. That is amazing. You know how useful this card can be in every deck. I think this has to be an Arcana exclusive card. If this card was in the game, this card would be very meta, very useful. It would be like in every deck, I think, because you could just special summon one monster from your hand. This can completely like boost all those boss monster decks. You can like special summon a freaking Tyrant Dragon. You can special summon a Blue Eyes. You can special summon anything. It doesn't say you can only special summon a spellcaster or anything. And to top it off, that's not even the whole effect. It continues to say, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one monster from your hand. Oh my god, that is insane. That is so crazy. Basically meaning, I don't know if the effect stacks on this guy, but if your opponent attacks into him, he flips, you get the effect for him flipping, you get to special summon like a Dark Magician or something, or anything in your hand, to be honest. Anything could be special summoned, and once it flipped, I mean it flipped, it got its effect, and then it gets destroyed. It was destroyed by battle, you get to special summon another monster. This card can get you 2 special summons in one turn. From one card you can get 2 special summons. I think this card is insane. I think this card could possibly be one of the best cards that we're seeing in Duel Links, and I don't know, I just think this card is amazing. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. We had a lot of information for Arcana, and I think this is a really cool card as well. Alright, but that's pretty much it. I mean, we do have a lot of information. I can't possibly cover it all without making this video like an hour long, so I'm going to cut it off here. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Have a great day, and see you guys.